I think the biggest challenge facing the Conservative Party in 2015 is to continue to cut the deficit, continue to work towards a stronger economy, always unpopular for many voters in having to make some of these very difficult decisions, and at the same time get the message across that that is the right way forward for the country. So yes, it's a challenge to do the right thing and get elected. I don't think that the Labour Party is our biggest challenge. I actually think perhaps the people are our biggest challenge, and getting our message across to the people in a way that they will understand that this is the right way forward for Britain.
I think firstly and foremost it is the challenge of winning an outright majority in order to govern alone as a Conservative government. I think that is absolutely key in order to put through the really important parts of the Conservative agenda, which I passionately believe are what this country desperately needs. Beyond that, I think when we get into government, we need to be absolutely set on hitting our targets for deficit reduction. I think the Chancellor's plans to run a surplus in order to start paying down some of our debts are right. I think one of the most striking statistics that is out there over our economy and over our public spending is that the maintenance of our debt will soon be the third largest government expenditure, beaten only by the NHS and welfare. I think that situation presents an enduring challenge for our country that we absolutely have to remain completely committed to sorting, no matter how tough the decisions are, no matter how unpopular they may be at times, in order to secure a better future for our country, not just for the next 5 years, but for the next 50. We've got to get on top of our public finances and change it so that we're not spending more on interest than we're spending on education. That is not a sustainable way to be running a country.
UKIP is an issue for all political parties. We've seen very much a sudden rise in what we call a protest vote, but I think it's something more profound. It is this anti-politics, and it's saying, look, you're not listening to me, I want to be heard. And I think, yes, in many seats it is going to have a more dramatic effect than in others. I think in my patch in Telford, I hear it on the door very often that I'm going to vote UKIP, but actually when you talk to them a bit more, they're Conservatives, they actually understand the message that's getting through, that they don't want Ed Miliband as Prime Minister. But yeah, I mean, I think there is no seat that will say that UKIP is not going to have some influence in how they conduct their campaign. And whether it's a question of, is UKIP getting more votes from the left or more votes from the right, they're definitely getting more votes. And I think in terms of politics as a landscape has fundamentally changed. I think the debate that UKIP has introduced into a whole range of areas that we weren't previously debating is perhaps healthy. My only concern is that this unpredictability is going to create uncertainty for business, it's going to create uncertainty for investment and for equity markets, etc. So that is a problem that we have to deal with, both at a constituency level but also at a national level.
I think that the only way to handle or to tackle public disaffection with politics is not to perpetuate all of the things that they find so unappealing about politics, which is to sort of talk exclusively about the other parties and other party leaders, make an argument that vote for us because we're the least bad. The argument we need to be making is vote for us because our ideas are the best. They're the best for our local community, they're the best for our county of Somerset, they're the best for our country as a whole, and let them go away and judge. And I think we can be confident that of all the main political parties, it is the Conservatives that has the most coherent and comprehensive agenda for developing all parts of our government so that we really can create a better future for Britain, and I think that argument stands alone without needing to really worry about what the other parties are doing.
I think if I could start over from 2010, I think in government we should have woken up much more quickly to the anti-politics rage that is out there. It's prevalent, it's very dominant on the doorsteps. You get in the back of a taxi cab in London, you will get a rant about politicians and the political elite. So we ignored that. I think something else we could have acted more quickly on is looking at the state of Europe and addressing that, because it was quite clearly a model that was flawed. You look at France, you look at Greece. Perhaps we should have been dissociating ourselves from Europe at an earlier stage in terms of the economics, and we seem to let those issues sit on the back burner. I think they're coming back to bite us, and it's possibly a little bit too late at this stage to start saying we're taking firm action.